Hi, fourth grade. It's Mrs. K, and we are going to work a little bit more with poetry today. So if you don't have it out yet, please grab your poetry journal. And let's review a little bit by turning to page 29. That's the poem practice. Oh, no, just kidding. Not 29. Page 31. That is where we left off. We talked about a couplet poem, right? And we followed some of the directions that are in our poetry journal, but I did give you a little bit different directions when I made this assignment for you. So I'm just going to kind of review that with you. Remember that when we talked about couplet poetry, we said that there are 3 rules. Number 1 is that a couplet poem is 2 lines long. That's probably your favorite rule, right? It's a very short poem. Rule number 2 is that the last word of each line rhymes. Okay, we can handle that. And 3, the lines have the same number of syllables or the same meter. And you watched a couple videos earlier this week that kind of explained what meter was so that you understand that you don't always necessarily have to count a specific number of syllables. You can just kind of go by the beat and how it feels. And you'll see when I write my poems that I definitely do that. I follow more of a rhythm than I do count syllables. But here's the example that I wrote earlier this week. I enjoy writing a poem. It's something I can do from home. So you'll notice that I kind of have a beat, right? I enjoy writing a poem. It's something I can do from home. So if you have one of those metronomes, I don't know how many of you have those at home. I used to have one growing up when I played piano, and it would just tick back and forth, right? It kind of sets a meter. You could probably find an app, or you know what? You could clap or you can snap. And if you can say your poem without having to pause when you're snapping your fingers, then you know that you've got a good rhythm, okay, or a good meter. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So I am going to practice writing with you by showing you how I like to write a couplet poem. So the first thing you'd have to do, obviously, is think of a topic. And sometimes you might sit down and be like, I am going to write about pizza, or I'm going to write about my dog, or I want to write about sidewalk chalk, or I want to write about something I did today. It really doesn't matter. Just remember, I always recommend writing about something that you enjoy because it's just way more fun. So something I love is going to the lake. I think you've probably noticed that in a lot of my poems I write about water. But I'm going to say going to the lake because it's one of my favorite things to do. So I know I want it to be about the lake. I feel like lake is a word I can rhyme with, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with that. Oh, how I love to head for the lake. Oops. L-A-K-E. Now, you're probably like, why did you start with oh, how I love? I already have that beat in my head. Oh, how I love to head for the lake. I could have said, I love to head for the lake, or I love the lake. But I kind of have a 4 beat idea in my head. So typically my lines are 4 beats long. Yours could be 3, yours could be 2, it could be 5, but typically 4 just kind of is smooth. 2, 3, or 4 tends to work the best. So, oh, how I love to head for the lake. Notice that I didn't change the beat of my rhythm, right? Oh, how I love to head for the lake. It's kind of like when we jump rope, right? Remember a jump rope unit? And you would do, oh goodness, now of course I can't think of what it's called. You'll have to tell me in homeroom tomorrow, or today, I guess, when you're listening to this video. What's that one jump rope thing that we did where we had to turn around, round, round, touch the ground, ground, ground? Anyway, you get it. Feel the beat. So now I know that my second line has to rhyme with lake. So now I literally just go through the alphabet. Nothing starts with A that rhymes with lake, but I could do bake, I could do cake. There's no D, no E word, fake, E, F, G, H, H-I-J. I could write about Jake. H-I-J. K-L. I already have L. M. N-O-P-Q-R. Q-R-S. T. U-V-W. W-X-Y-Z. Okay, so these are the words I came up with. And of course you can come up with more because you can have blends like quake or, whatever. But these are the words I'm just going to go with. So I know I need to have a word that rhymes with lake. I'm going to go with wake because I can already envision how this is going to go. One of my favorite things to do is get up early and look at the sunrise, and right when I wake up. So I can end with lake. Oh, how I love to head for the lake and watch the sun rise as soon as I wake. So let's test it out. We've got 3 rules, right? 1, is it 2 lines long? Yes, it is. Rule number 2, do the last word of each line rhyme? Lake, wake. Yes, they do. Here's the toughest one to check. Do they have the same number of syllables or the same meter? Well, we can count syllables if you want, just because some of you might be doing that. Oh, how I love to head for the lake. This one has 9 syllables. And watch the sun rise as soon as I wake. This one has 10, okay? So my syllables do not match. So now we better check to make sure my meter matches because one or the other has to match, syllables or meter. Oh, how I love to head for the lake and watch the sun rise as soon as I wake. Boom. It sticks to that rhythm, right? So that works for me, right? I can feel that. I was writing poems earlier today just to kind of practice, and you can always tell when it doesn't fit. So if I was like, oh, how I love to head for the lake and watch the sun rise with my coffee as soon as I wake. Okay, right? You can tell. When I added with my coffee, that was way too many beats. It didn't work, right? It wasn't 4 and 4, right? I had 4 taps in the first line. I should have 4 taps in the second line. Oh, how I love to head for the lake. That was 4. And watch the sun rise as soon as I wake. 4, right? 4 beats. So I wrote a couple other poems earlier, so now you can help me check if I follow the rules. 2 lines. This one ends with poem and this one ends with home, so those rhyme. You should recognize this one because it was the first one I read for you today. I enjoy writing a poem. It's something I can do from home. You'll notice a tiny letter A here. That's because the first time I said, I enjoy writing poems. It's something I can do from home. And I didn't want to say homes, poems and homes. I don't go to people's homes and write poems, so I knew I wanted it to be home. So then I took the S off of here and changed this to poem, but I couldn't say I enjoy writing poems, so I had to add the word A. I enjoy writing a poem. It's something I can do from home. Okay, that follows the rules. Here's another one. It has 2 lines. It ends with fave and cave. Those rhyme, so now let's check the beat. Doing the dishes is not my fave, but when they're dirty, I always cave. Yep, I got 4 beats here and 4 beats here. And notice I used some slang. I used the word fave instead of favorite. That's my creative license, right? You'll notice some creative license in this next poem too. It has 2 lines. It looks like a little more, but it's because I ran out of space. The first line ends with pup, and the second line ends with sup, right? Not like, hey, sup. It's short for supper. So, my little Molly, she's such a sweet pup, but I sure don't like it when she's... Oh, whoops. I wrote it, and then I crossed it off because it didn't have the right beat, but I said it anyway, so that's interesting. Hopefully you saw how that messed up the beat. My little Molly, she's such a sweet pup, but I sure don't like when she stares at my sup. She's a beggar. I don't like it when she sits at my feet when I'm eating dinner. It bugs me. But when I have the word it didn't work, right? But I sure don't like it when she stares at my sup, right? It just messed it up. So I had to figure out what to do. Crossed off it. But I sure don't like it when, but I sure don't like when she stares at my sup. That little it really wanted to be in there, but it messed up my poem. All right, last one. Let's check if it follows the rules. 2 lines. The last one ends in TV, mostly V, and then the last word in this line ends with D. It goes like this. Quarantine time makes me binge on TV, but no, go outside, binge on vitamin D. Can you tell what I was thinking about today? I don't like when the TV is on constantly, and I too I get tempted to watch TV shows when I'm like, no way, I have other things I should be doing, or better yet, be outside. When that sun is shining, let's get out there, right? So I just wrote about it. And you notice that it had the same beat in both of those lines. So anyways, I hope that kind of helped you figure out how to write your own couplet poem if you've been having some trouble. So what I want you to do is do some practice. Write a bunch of couplets. They're only 2 lines long, so you definitely have time to write more than one. They are not long. So when you write them, I want you to check, are you following the rules? And if you're not sure, write these rules down. Pause this right now, take a screenshot of it so you can refer to it, or write them down on a piece of paper so that you can check your work after you write a poem. Is it 2 lines long? If yes, check. Do the last words of each line rhyme? If it does, check. Do they have the same number of syllables, or do they have the same meter, right? Or the same rhythm? If so, check. 3 simple rules. So I want you to write your own couplets, practice a bunch, like I said, and then when you're sure that you follow all of the rules, I want you to open up to page 32 in your poetry journal. And write down your favorite of all your practices. Give it a title, of course, illustrate it in this fun little Polaroid here, and then write your couplet here. And you can email it to me to check it out, or you can share it to homeroom. And I have an extra little challenge for you. I would love it if you would post a video of you saying your poem for the group and show us how it follows all 3 rules. And tomorrow morning in homeroom, I will do a sample video, because videos can only be 45 seconds, so you have to keep them short. I'll do a little sample so that you can see exactly how you can make a video showing that it's 2 lines long, the last word rhymes, and it has the same, both lines have the same meter. Okay? I'm so excited to see what you're writing. And of course, what am I going to say? Be creative and have fun. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Have a great day, guys. Bye.